Walk with me.
We have heard in our ears, O God, how our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in times of old. How thou didst drive out the heathen with thine hand, and thou plantest them, how thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did they own arms save them. But thy right hand and thy right arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hadst a favor unto them, thou hadst a grace unto them. Thou art my king, O God. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee we will push down our enemies. Through thy name we will tread them under that rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies. Thou hast put them to shame that hated us. In God we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever, Selah. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our enemies. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. Thou sellest thy people for nothing, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Thou makest us reproach to our neighbors, and scorn a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. For the voice of him that reproacheth and blasphemeth by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this has come upon us, yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Though thou hast broken us in a place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death. That's the English version. If we have forgotten thy name, the name of our God, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not God search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yeah, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake thou that thou sleepest. Oh, I am. Arise, cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, and our bellies cleaveth to the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. Psalms chapter 44. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the hearts of men, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, all praises to the Most High. We also thank God for those of you that have been with us from the beginning, and those of you that have come thereafter and here and there's about, and we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed. Yes, we praise the Most High for you, and also those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes. We're still in the 40th chapter of the book of Jasher, the 40th chapter. We're going to get into the 41st chapter eventually. And even this psalm is very, very befitting. I mean, how God has delivered the children of Jacob through many things, even in this time where he has given them, his right arm has saved the children of Jacob in so many ways. And yet the children of Jacob now are a byword. You know, you call the N-word, you call all kind of words. Even those that have been replaced, that have replaced you in the land that you were supposed to have, lift up their nose and say, we are the chosen now. And they will not relent in that area. Although some have, that's only by the workings of the Most High that he remind those that will that who you are, and you have to accept these things. It's not that he's just going to make you accept them. You have to accept who you are as far as your birthright. We have been confused. Our memory of who we once were is gone through deception and the evil that we do every day. And now we are coming up with another deal here. The daughters of my children have rebelled. In other words, the daughters of Jacob have rebelled. Many have rebelled. Yeah, there are many that are faithful and many that have waken up as to who they are, but many are asleep. They rebel against the family. They rebel against their own men and their husbands and those who would be potentially their husbands. They rebelled against the duties and even the men. We have lost that which God has given us through the sin of our forefathers, that we were never taught. This is why it's so important that you teach your children. So important that you teach your children. For the heathen, the demons and the devils behind the heathen are vehement. They are driving. They never sleep, neither do they slumber. They will not give you a chance. Any avenue, any way they can see to separate Jacob and keep him at variance between the men and the women, between the children and the men and the family with the men and all. You see, the whole consensus of the Bible is he warns the man. I'm not going to worry about the woman right now. But you, man of Jacob, you have to set sound standards in your home. Regardless of whether she gets up to leave, I can't. No, don't worry about that. Because that's not a nail in a sure place. This is what the Bible means, a tent peg, one that's holding down your dwelling, one that is there, bringing stability to the dwelling among your children and you and them. When Abraham told Esau, remove the nail, it's not in a sure place, Esau understood what he said right away. What did he do? He got rid of that wife. See, all the sons of Jacob, all the sons of Isaac, they respected their father. They loved their father. That was the way. See, now this is where the enemy is tearing your sons away from you, man. He's tearing your sons away, and he's doing it through the woman. He's doing it through different other mediums too, but mainly through the woman. He's tearing you, bringing you down. Your sons become effeminate. Your sons become rebellious. This is why he has to cleanse the sons of Levi, because they have married and intermarried and all kind of things, and they were forbidden to do so. But nevertheless, I digress. Yes, we're in verse chapter 40, verse 37. We ended where many of the nations around the land of Shechem came to make peace with the children of Jacob. And verse 37 reads, and the sons of Jacob went with their servants to the gate of Shechem, toward those kings and their father Jacob, which was with them. And when they had come forth, behold, the king of Hebron and his 3 captains and 9 men with them were coming along with the road against the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob lifted up their eyes and saw at a distance Japhia, king of Hebron, with his captains coming toward them. And the sons of Jacob took their stand at the place of the gate of Shechem and did not proceed. And the king of Hebron continued to advance, he and his captains, until he came nigh to the sons of Jacob. He and his captains bowed down to them to the ground, and the king of Hebron sat with his captains before Jacob and his sons. And the sons of Jacob said unto him, what has befallen thee, O king of Hebron? Thou hast come to us today. What dost thou require from us? And the king of Hebron said unto Jacob, I beseech thee, my brothers, kings, all the kings of the Canaanites have this day come to make peace with you. And the sons of Jacob heard the words of the king of Hebron, and they would not consent to his proposals. For the sons of Jacob had no faith in him, for they imagined that the king of Hebron had spoken deceitfully to them. And the king of Hebron knew from the words of the sons of Jacob that they did not relieve his words. And the king of Hebron approached nearer to Jacob and said unto him, I beseech thee. He called him his owner, his Lord, or his God, or whatever, to be assured that all these kings have come to you on peaceable terms. You remember, this is translated from another language into the English language. For they have not come with all their men, neither did they bring their weapons of war with them, for they have come to seek peace from my Lord and his sons. If this was translated as verbatim, it would be backward sentences. It would be broken sentences in English. Yes, but the people that speak this language wouldn't have no problem understanding what they were saying. Now, this is where you have to really get into what is pictured here, the big picture of what the author or what the story is about, or the event is about. And the sons of Jacob answered the king of Hebron, saying, Send thou to all these kings, and if thou speakest truth unto us, let them each come singingly before us. In other words, come sing a song. And if they come unto us unarmed, we shall then know that they seek peace from us. And Japhia, king of Hebron, sent one of his men to the kings, and they all came before the sons of Jacob, bowed down. See, this is what's going to happen in the end. This happened in the beginning of Jacob, and this is going to happen when the small stone hewed out all these Israelites, out all these Shemites, and all the mountain, the many myriads of people whose soul have existed before. This is what's going to happen to the kings and the presidents and even you, President of the United States. Not you, you might be dead by then, but anyway, those leaders of this time, whether it be near or maybe a little far off. Listen. And Japhia, king of Hebron, sent one of his men to the kings, and they all came before the sons of Jacob and bowed down to them to the ground. And these kings sat before Jacob. They will sit before the Most High. They will sit before the sons of Jacob, even Israel, the elect, the remnant of the Most High that he has chosen out of many, and his sons. And they spoke unto them, saying, We have heard all that you did unto the kings of the Amorites. They did not realize or acknowledge the Most High in this. With your sword, exceedingly mighty arm, so that no man could stand up before you. And we were afraid of you, for the sake of our lives, lest it should befall us as it did to them. So we have come unto you to form a treaty of peace between us. One thing you must be warned, even the children of Jacob, you can never really trust a treaty between you and your enemy in this day and time. They are led by devils, and they will soon turn again on you. You use it for what you can, and then you get out of it. In other words, if it's to stack up or to cause your people to thrive, yes, you should always respect those who you made a treaty with, but never trust it. Because if they broke the treaty once, they will break it again. Especially here in this land that I'm speaking from today. And bowed down to them to the ground, and these kings sat before Jacob, the sons, and they spoke unto them, saying, we're going to go a little bit further to verse 45. And we were afraid of you for the sake of our lives, lest it should befall us as it did to them. So we have come unto you to form a treaty of peace between us. And now therefore contract us a covenant of peace and truth, that you will not meddle with us, inasmuch as we have not meddled with you. And the sons of Jacob knew that they had really come to seek peace from them. In other words, by you meet my conditions. My God is with me. So you came according to my conditions, then I know you really come to seek. Yeah, as with your friends. I mean, your friend come and he came against you, and he find out that God is not on his side, and he comes and confesses faults before you. Forgive him. Yes, forgive him. Your brother come. I'm not talking about murder or raping. I'm talking about other things. Theft, embezzlement. Maybe he slapped you and ran. Who knows? If he comes and apologizes and is sorry for what he did, forgive him. This is only so. He said, now, and the sons of Jacob listened to them and formed a covenant with him. And the sons of Jacob swore unto them that they would not meddle with them. And all the kings of the Canaanites swore also to them. And the sons of Jacob made them tributary from a day forward. Yes. In other words, they made them tributary, but this is a spiritual thing. They're tributaries because this is the land of Shem that they're in. Their fathers, whether they forgot it or some put it in the back of their mind. They're illegally, they're not spiritually, they would not allotted this land from the Most High. And they're cursed because they are the children of Ham. Now they begin to serve. He's not a servant yet, but he soon shall be in this narrative. Now, and after this, all the captains of these kings came with their men before Jacob with presents in their hands for Jacob and his sons, and they bowed themselves to the ground. This is the Negroid way, bowing. Those of us whom ancestors were carried over into this far land, we forgot the bowing. We handshake, touching or whatever. But bowing shows, and you want to realize that a lot of times, even the heathen, they will not bow. They'll shake your hand, but they will not bow to you. Now, the people of the Asia will bow. But why are you taking their way of greeting when you should embrace your own? In other words, bow. You can just nod your head. We do that anyway. We nod our head when we come against each other, brother. We see each other in passing. Some of us even go up like that. You got this way is in you. And the sons of Jacob did so, and they returned all that they had captured, with the women and the little ones and the cattle and all the spoils which they had taken, and set them off, and they went away each to his city. In other words, they gave them back what they took. And all the kings again bowed down to the sons of Jacob, and they sent or brought them many gifts in those days. And the sons of Jacob sent off these kings and their men, and they went peaceably away from them to their cities. And the sons of Jacob also returned to their homes to Shechem. That's where they lived. That's what their father purchased that land outright and bright, even though that was not the land of the Canaanites, or neither the tribes of the Canaanites, or should I say, of Canaan. And there was peace from that day forward between the sons of Jacob and the kings of the Canaanites until the children of Israel came to inherit the land of Canaan. Now we're going to switch. Now this is the sons of, we see that there was a war before. They were in the land that's allotted to them. It's not something that you just go and steal or colonize. They didn't do that. They didn't recolonize it because it was their land, period. It was their father's land, a perpetual inheritance. But now, in this narrative, but today, the children of Jacob are scattered throughout all the earth. Many of the children of Jacob do not know who they are. They have gone into accepting the way of the heathen and those that are around them and intermarrying and mingling and those things. It's not to be racist or anything. It's the fact God told you not to do it, period. It's nothing like that. But the fact is that When he said, "Thou shalt not, when you sowest a field, thou shalt not mingle seed." This was symbolic. They knew what it meant. Sometimes God had to speak in parables for people to understand. Many of you take the things of God and you go further than what it is. God is very simple. There's not no hidden agenda with God. What he says is what he means. Many of you have gone into the doctrines of devils. When you get into these hidden agendas and all these things of the Most High, you're entering to the doctrines of devils. You start doing mathematical equations and all this other stuff. God is simple. He don't need all that. But you do. Yes. And chapter 41. And at the revolution of the year, the sons of Jacob journeyed from Shechem, and they came to Hebron, to their father Isaac or Isaac, and they dwelt there. But their flocks and herds they fed daily in Shechem. In other words, they went back and forth. So Hebron and Shechem are pretty close to each other. If they have to come back and forth. For there was there in those days good and fat pastures. And Jacob and his sons and all their household dwelt in the valley of Hebron. Yes, if you look at the old ancient maps, the land was really in progression of dividing. The continents were in the progression of dividing. It's not written. They're not going to show you this. You're not going to even see it. It's hidden deep in the caverns of a certain peoples. The land was in progress of dividing. If you look at the ancient maps and you see what the things that they're doing, you see the division, and you find out that this land of Israel, to be precise, is part of Africa. It's part of Africa, period, or what we call Africa. It's part of it. It's on the same tectonic plate as those scientists say. It's also connected in these ancient maps. So you're going to have to really, really understand these people that made these ancient maps are the Babylonians. You can go to the Babylonian map and you can see, well, how come theirs are closer together? And then we get to the part where you look at the Red Sea, for instance. You can see where the gradual dividing of the cartographers of that time, how they mapped it out through whatever they did. They mapped it out. They understood the land. They understood navigation, and they can tell distance and time and distance at that time. And so that's how they mapped a lot of the land out, by longitude, latitude, height, depth, all these things. Can just about get the lay of the land just through that, or just going along the coastline. And you can just about feel how the land is. Have you ever done that? Just go out into your rivers and you watch the river bends and all that and see, can you make a map? You go to where there's an island in the middle of the river, or maybe you have a lake, like those of you in the Great Lake areas. Yes. And if you got your boat and you just go around, you can lay out the land how it looks, and you draw it on paper. Well, this got this. It might not be exact from an aerial view, but it will be pretty close. So we can depend on that. Now in chapter 41 and verse 2, and it was in those days that year, being the 106th year of the life of Jacob, 106 years now. Now he married Leah and Rachel. I think he was 80 years old, from what I can recall. I'll put it that way. Now he's 106. How many years? That's 26 years. His sons are very young. His sons were young. And in the 10th year of Jacob, now you have to realize a young teenager is very strong. Some of these teenagers are so strong you cannot do anything with them. And then with God being behind them, it's something to pay. And it was in those days, in the year that it's 36 years. I'm sorry, it's 36 years, 106. No, He was somewhere between, he married them somewhere. He was 80 years old when he left. Those kids were already born. Now they're grown men and they're fighting like they've been fighting for years. Battle-hardened young men. In the 6th year of the life of Jacob, in the 10th year of Jacob's coming from Padanaram, that Leah, the wife of Jacob, died. Leah, she was the most hated, but she loved Jacob. Rachel was a pretty one. She loved Jacob also, even the more, yes. But both of them equally loved Jacob. And they would do anything. They wanted to build the people that they were proud of. They were proud of their people. And not only that, their maids were even proud to be a part of birthing something as great as the children of Jacob. Now, Jacob and his sons buried her in the cave in the field of Machpelah, which is in Hebron, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth for his possession. See, this is something that you can't even move. Machpelah. Now, when we get into the book of Joshua, we're going to try to map out all these things and come out, we're going to do it meticulously. We're going to try to do this meticulous and find out where all this thing is, because there's so many hits and miss on where the things of the Most High is. And we know the heathen that dwell there now have set up things to their own advantage. Now, and the sons of Jacob dwelt there with their father in the valley of Hebron, and all the inhabitants of the land knew their strength, and their fame went throughout the land. And Joseph and the sons of Jacob, his brother Benjamin, and the son of Rachel, the wife of Jacob, were yet young in those days and did not go out with their brethren during their battles. You did not hear their names either. And all the cities of the Amorites. And when Joseph saw the strength of his brethren and their greatness, he praised them and extolled them, but he ranked himself greater than them and extolled himself above them. And Jacob, his father, also loved him more. I mean, an old man that has children late in his years, he's going to love them a whole lot. Just like a grandfather loves his grandchildren, even above anything. I mean, it just is. And he loved him more than any of his sons, for he was the son of his old age. And through his love toward him, he made him a coat of many colors. Now we hit the transition, and we're going to say, until next time, peace.
Walk with me.